Welcome back to Briggs Road if you've been joining us already this evening. If not, welcome to Briggs Road for the first time for this massive National Premier League Queensland clash in round 19 between Western Pride and Lions. It's top of the table against third in the ladder, and this match could have massive ramifications for who finishes on top of the competition by the season end. I'm Simon Smann. I'm really looking forward to bringing you this one. It should be an absolute classic. And after just enjoying that National Premier League's women's clash between Souths United and Western Pride, in which the visitors ran out 4-0 winners, you'd have to hope for the hosts here in this match that was not a premonition of things to come. Western Pride's National Premier League side would like to thank iMed Radiology Network and All Sports Physiotherapy for their continued support. And and Lions would like to thank Motorama and Luxury Paints for their support of the men's team. Tonight's Total Tools referee is Matthew Skinner, and he's assisted by Nathan McDonald and Andrew Lindsay. And while we're waiting for the teams to finish their huddles, we'll just run you through the starting lineup, starting with the visitors. In goal for them will be Max Davison. For the host, sorry, Max Davison will be in goal for Western Pride. And it'll be number 2, Will McFarlane, number 3, Hayden McHenry, number 4, Delors Toyoshime, number 5, Cameron Crestani, number 7, Adam Dean, number 9, Andrew Pengelly, number 10, Joe Duckworth, number 11, Mitchell Bird, number 12, Josh Wilson, and number 14, Gabrielle Harwash. Lions, coached by Warren Moon, and they'll be lining up as so, with Luke Breen wearing the number 90 jersey in goal. And in front of him, Andy Thompson, number 2, number 4, Matthias Simic, number 5, Tommy Jarrett, number 8, Mitch Hoare, number 10, J.N. McQuaze, number 12, Sean Carlos, number 15, Danny Kim, number 16, Josh Brindlestaff, number 17, Marek Mardel, and number 18, Chris Marr. And things are underway right from the off, and that was Sean Carlos with an early start. Orange shirts are Lions, kicking from left to right, and it is the green and white shirts of Western Pride who are on the back foot initially as Lions move the ball around at the back. Here is Andy Thompson. Launch that ball forward towards new substitute Marek Mardel, who swings that ball in, and it had to be dealt with by Crestani. An early corner for Lions, who've come out the blocks firing here at Briggs Road. As we've already mentioned, this game could have massive ramifications for the remainder of the season. We'll get into that if there is any let-up in the play at all. And I have to admit, I'm not counting on that happening. This one is going to be an absolute cracker. Kim comes short for the corner. He's ignored, and it's hooked in by Thompson onto the head there. Is it a tipped over the crossbar? How about that for a save from Mac Davidson? What a start we have here, inside 60 seconds, and we're already seeing fantastic saves from the goalkeeper. Lions so close to an opener there. Barely have time to take a breath here in the National Premier League's Queensland. Thompson hooks another one in. It's another dangerous cross. It's hooked clear and then hooked over the top. I believe it was Matthias Simic, the captain, in the rarefied air of the penalty area, the opposition penalty area that is, hooking that ball over the top. Warren Moon in the dugout to our left is encouraging his team to go, go, go right from the off, and it's an electric start from the visitors here, who are in third spot on the ladder, just 3 points behind Western Pride with a game in hand, and both of those teams have a game in hand over Olympic, who are in second spot on 42 points. So that's why I mean this game is so important. Chris Marr, forced back. That's a gorgeous ball, gorgeous looking ball from Mitch Hoare, but it's comfortably dealt with and moved up forward by Delors Toyoshime. And here's Crestani. He'll have to be on top of his game tonight in order to deal with the threat of the Lions' attack that has included, of course, Marek Mardel, who has scored 4 goals in his 3 games since making the mid-season switch from Holland Park Hawks. Did, of course, play 14 games and scored 23 goals in the Football Queensland Premier League. He's probably the informed striker in the competition in Queensland at the moment. Of course, you include Josh Taylor in that conversation. It's the pit over to our right, the supporters band here in Ipswich for the Western Pride get their hackles up over that challenge, which is eventually awarded to Western Pride, and then that ball is hooked forward by Jason Makwaze, but an opportunity perhaps for Andrew Pengelly to race on. He's another striker who's got plenty of goals so far this season, 12 for him in 19 games, which admittedly is rather pedestrian when it comes to the likes of Marek Madel, but a fairly strong challenge there. Chris Marr could have done himself a bit of an injury there, and he's just walking slightly gingery down to our right. We'll keep an eye on that one. He's going to walk it off, not showing any ill effects to his opponents, but if you just catch a glimpse of him when nobody's looking, he's feeling it a little bit. Nice from Makwaze. Makwaze just drifting in and out of challenges and skipping past a couple of stray boots. Here's Sean Carlos now. That's nice over on that far side. It's going to be another corner, is it? No, it's kept in, and Crestani will launch it clear. It's been all Lions in these opening 4.5 minutes of the game. Danny Kim will just put his foot on the ball and gain a little bit of space. A little bit of a trip from Luke Berean, who is perhaps justified in wearing his beanie today. It's going to get colder over the course of the evening. I've gone from wearing a small jacket to a big one for this second game of our double header on Super Saturday in the National Premier League's Queensland and National Premier League's Women's Queensland. Lots of space on this near side for Thompson. Should Matthias Simic find its way over? He doesn't. Instead works the ball down the left-hand side. Quase has been crabbing across field with great effect so far, and a foul is given by referee Matt Skinner. An opportunity for Danny Kim to just deliver a ball into a dangerous position. Matt Skinner's not happy with the positioning of that ball and forces Danny Kim to move it the half yard or so further towards the grandstand, which is fairly well populated here in Ipswich. This Western Corridor derby. It's a good ball aimed towards Simic. Has to be hacked clear. It's Gabriel Harwash who got the final touch to launch it forward, but it's going to be a throw in to the visitors, Lions, in the orange shirts. Really frenetic start. Headed upfield, but only as far as Mitch Hoare. And then Mitch Hoare leaves a delightful ball towards Madel. There's a fair bit of touching going on there between Madel and Will McFarlane in the number 2 jersey for Western Pride, but no foul. Just enough to put his opponent off from Will McFarlane. It's a touch from Hayden McHenry, and McHenry is clattered to the ground. No card shown to Josh Brindle-South, the former Wellington Phoenix player in the Hyundai A-League. Of course, an ambition that many here in the West also share, the Hyundai A-League. The expression of interest winners, if you like, were revealed yesterday, and Western Pride were one of 2 teams from Queensland to have made it through to the next stage. The other, of course, being Brisbane City. Ball is delivered high. There's players dropping down all over the shop on the edge of the penalty area. It was well claimed in the end by Borean, who's resplendent in his bright purple jersey with the number 90 on the back. That's one for the purists. And the game has settled down after that rambunctious start. Lions just working their way up over on that far side. It's Josh Wilson who helped that ball out. Brindle South will be looking to take this throw and give up to Marek Madel. Matthew Simic. Long ball wide to Thompson. I think it was perhaps aimed initially towards Chris Marr, but never got there and went to Thompson instead. Here's Sean Carlos, who was acting as a number 9 in the early stages of the season. Lions have a good squad, but it's rather thin, and that of course led to Warren Moon bringing himself on in the FFA Cup clash with Rochdale, the bromance derby. Unfortunately for Mooney, he couldn't add to his goal scoring record for Lions and instead was content, if that can be the word used, to see his side progress on penalties, where they of course then hammered Peninsula Power. Quite a surprise result after Power in turn had hammered Brisbane Strikers in one of the earlier rounds, and it'll be Lions who did progress along with Cairns FC and Gold Coast Knights and Olympic, and of course Olympic loom large for Lions. They will play each other in the round of 32. Seems typical, you get exposed to a national competition and then you draw a team from just down the road, but nevertheless a good golden opportunity for both sides to progress to the round of 16, where they may well have a better opportunity to face a team from the Hyundai League. Here's a golden opportunity for Western Pride. Simic got his head to that cross and helped it on its way. Clear. Gabriel Harwash is caught in possession though. And it's forced all the way back to Crestani. Now Lions mopping up the scraps in midfield. Kim can't squeeze that ball out towards Mitch Hoare, but Mitch Hoare will battle. He's Tenacious, the former Brisbane City star, and Mitch Hoare does win the throw-in over on that far side, which will be taken by Brindle South. You said it's settled down a little bit from this opening start. Really high-paced start. Neither side will want to let up too much. And here's Ndine. Pengelly tried to get a shot away, did get a shot away, but it was only into the foot of Andy Thompson. Still there for Western Pride over on that far side. Here's McHenry. He's rather bundled off it by Mitch Hoare, who in turn is bundled to ground, and it will be a free kick according to our Total Tools officiating team. Looked to be a good decision. Not quite sure where McHenry could have gone, other than careering into the vulnerable body of Mitch Hoare, but 22-year-old did go to deck and did win the free kick. Bit of pressure being put on by Andrew Pengelly. Breen has ice in his veins and plays the ball out via Tommy Jarrett, and Lions will look to clear. It's gone back to Breen now. Nadia Simic was down on his haunches momentarily. I think he was just dealing with a stray shoelace. Sweet, sweet sound of a vuvuzela. There's an opportunity for Sean Carlos to hear the sweet, sweet sound of the net rippling. It never gets that way though. He can't get the shot away, and it's a free kick that'll be taken quickly by Crestani right into Jason McQuarze, and the very vocal support down to the right-hand side are crying foul and hoping for a card to be shown. I don't think Matt Skinner is going to be swayed. And now Crestani will be allowed to make the play. Thompson rose highest above Pengelly. And now here's Sean Carlos. Here's an opportunity now on this near side for Madel. Madel will cross. Carlos is in the middle. What a tackle that was. Solid tackle by Delors Toyoshime. The Rwandan via Tanzania, 23 years old. He's played across a couple of different clubs. So substitute in the grand final that took place here at Briggs Road. Fantastic occasion for Western Pride. So they all came from the dead really midway through the season to sneak into the finals and then win the big prize thanks to Dylan Wenzel Hall's wonderful free kick that had me screaming and left me icing my vocal cords for a week. Dark Duckworth has a bit of space on this near side. He's closed down by Kim, cuts back inside. Invited for pressure onto himself there, does Duckworth, and is forced to play it back to Ndiaye. Now Toyoshime. Toyoshime, that's a nice looking ball. Bird had just drifted off his man. And now there's a lot of time. That header just going awry for the Western Pride side, and it'll be Luke Berean who will take all the time in the world to pick this ball up if he ever does indeed chooses to do so. Instead, he'll just launch it forward himself, and it'll be straight into his opposite number in position, if not in terms of the digits on their back, Max Davison. Who just joined us, Luke Berean wears and favours the number 90 jersey, which is, of course, one of the least common numbers that you'd see on a football jersey. And goalkeepers can be peculiar, and he certainly fits the bill, Luke Berean. Ball is out over on that far side. Play's been allowed to continue though. I'm sure it will be called back. It'll be a throw-in for Western Pride. It's well spotted by the assistant over on that far side of the field. Matt Skinner's going to get plenty of assistance in making sure that he sees those flags go up from the pit, the supporters club of the Western Pride to our right. Make plenty of noise out here at Briggs Road. Stunned into silence though from that loose pass by Josh Wilson, who's the first male player to go all the way through the system here at Western Pride. He was an inaugural player in the under 14s and has worked his way up to the senior side. Been involved in 14 games this season as Wilson. Swept clear by Jared. Mkwaze can't squeeze that ball through. Here from the whooping and hollering to our right, that it is a Western Pride throw-in, which will be taken by Hayden McHenry. Has settled down. This game started so brightly, it's still goalless. It's an opportunity though for Madel. Here's a question that we need to be answered though. It's Will McFarlane who receives. So I didn't see what colour the card was. It's a red card, is it? It is a red card. Western Pride are down to 10 men. Will McFarlane traipses off the field, and he'll be playing no further part, and you'd have to say it was a genuine goal-scoring opportunity for Marek Madel. To say any opportunity that Madel gets in and around the penalty area is a goal-scoring opportunity, but that was a clear-cut one. And I don't think Matt Skinner had too much choice other than to send Will McFarlane off. And McFarlane, whose father played in the Coal Stars team, it was the last Ipswich-based side to win a major competition prior to Western Pride's grand final win last season. So that free kick is deflected off the wall, and as has been the case on a couple of occasions here at Briggs Road, an early red card is going to prove costly to one side in the title race, and on this occasion it's the hosts. Western Pride will be playing the majority of this game down to 10 men, and that'll be music to Warren Moon's ears. To ask Matt Skinner to flash the cards for a little longer next time. I was up and down in a glimpse to Will McFarlane, who didn't need telling twice to begin that long traipse over to the demountables over on that far side. And now Western Pride are really up against it. Good flick on by Pengelly, and Andy Thompson is rather mugged with the ball, but it recovers well. It's a great tackle from Andy Thompson, and that allows Mitch Hoare to play this ball through towards Marek Maidel, and Maidel challenging Hawash. Hawash does well, but only finds a bustling figure of Mitch Hoare. Mitch Hoare receives it back from Mar, and the Western Pride will look to clear the ball upfield. It's a nice ball. It's going to stay in, is it? It is going to stay in, and then it's helped out by Andrew Pengelly. Pengelly just feeling his neck there. He might have just got a bit of a nudge on the way through by Thompson. Former Capalabar player, Jaden Mkwaze. Very busy, looks very busy on the ball, Mkwaze. Always fast feet and looking for space and movement. That's what makes him such a dangerous player that's seen him score 4 goals in his 9 games. It's hooked in by Thompson. It's flapped at onto the feet of Mkwaze. Davison got lucky there, trying to catch that butterfly, as the Italians would say. It's helped all the way back to the keeper at the opposite end, Luke Berean, who it should be mentioned has kept 10 clean sheets so far this season from 16 games. It's a wonderful record. Lions have conceded a goal every 206 minutes. They haven't conceded in their last 4 matches since that 1-0 Brisbane Classico defeat against Brisbane City. That was 407 minutes ago that goal went in from Sam Sibatuara, just towards the end of the first half in that game. Well, Moonside's defence has been so resolute and strong throughout the course of the season. They've only conceded more than once, and that was against Gold Coast United. Gold Coast United still lost that game by 3 goals to 2. A formidable opponent. Oh, Lions in their first season in the National Premier League's Queensland. Decent chase from Hayden McHenry. Still chasing Hayden McHenry. Again, Berean's ice-like veins, and then Andy Thompson takes that ball out, and he gets plenty of advice about it from the pit. How big a role are they going to play? The home support now to help their 10 men through. No foul, just a goal kick that Luke Berean will take. That's a ball boy lapping up the praise from fans behind the goal there. We like to see young kids involved in football here at the senior level. Pengelly did catch Thompson. Keep our eye on that battle. There might be a few words exchanged. Danny Kim won the ball. I'm surprised that was given us a free kick. And Danny Kim shows his frustration. And you have to say, Kim got the ball a long time before a Western Pride player was even in the vicinity. It just so happened that Gabriel Hawash, I think it was, kept going into the ball. And Crestani's asking the question, well, if the foot was up and you deemed that a foul, then maybe it should be at least a card, Mr. Skinner. That's not what our Total Tools referee this evening has decided, though, and perhaps Western Pride will use that perceived injustice to surge themselves forward. They'll need all the energy they can get, down to 10 men after the early sending off of Will McFarlane, just 15 minutes into the game. Western Pride cough up the ball as they did just then from Dolores Toyoshime. They might be in a little bit of trouble. Here's Brindle South able to run onto a Sean Carlos pass. And Brindle South can't get onto the end of that Mkwaze ball, and Sean Carlos concedes a free kick. There's all sorts of antics going on either side of us on the dugouts. It'd be worth watching that as much as it would be worth watching the action on the field, but don't take your eyes off that just yet. This has got all the hallmarks of being a really, really exciting game, because to Western Pride, to their credit, they haven't sat back since conceding the early advantage of personnel. They are still pressing forward, and perhaps they feel that there might be an opportunity to catch Lions a little bit unawares, a little bit complacent perhaps, but he'll be hard-pressed to believe that Warren Moon will allow his side to show any sort of complacency with the Western Pride's throat bared and able to be taken, vulnerable to be taken. Played out wide to McHenry, crosses the ball in, it's a header just over the top by Duckworth. Pride's longest serving player with 84 appearances now. He's managed 8 goals so far this season. He scored 11 last year in that championship winning season for the Pride and delivered that free kick to Crestani, whose header opened the scoring in the grand final last year against Moreton Bay United on that sensational occasion here at Briggs Road in front of over 3,000 spectators. Luke Bruin adding another personnel advantage as he ventures out of his area. Here's Kim. Thompson. Mitch Hoare. Thompson will let this go out for a corner kick, but that's not what Dolores Turashime has in mind, and he hooks that ball clear for a throw-in instead, which is taken quickly. Ma helps it on to Thompson. Thompson with the cross. It's flapped away only as far as Sean Carlos. Sean Carlos, brilliant control! Sean Carlos gets the opening goal. No! Just enough of it did Max Davison get. And he tells his teammates to remain calm. That's a fantastic save, a real let-off for Western Pride. Glorious skill from Sean Carlos to get that ball out from under his feet. And a fantastic save from Davison to stop that ball from rolling back over the line. Here's Mitch Hoare for Lions. They're coming forward again. Chris Marr. Marr with a cross. It's flapped out again by Davison and helped towards the edge of the penalty area. Jason McQuaze. It's helped on by Brindle South. Another difficult one. Corner is given for Lions. Max Davison will be a busy boy, the man from Townsville. Formerly of the Brisbane Raw Youth and Olympic. He will be a very, very busy man, you think, if he is to help preserve Western Pride's 3-game winning streak, or undefeated streak. Surely they'll be hoping for a victory against all odds, but it will be against all odds. They are down to 10 men. Will McFarlane sent off in the 15th minute. McQuaze goes short and then sells his teammate short, but still there, and here's an opportunity for Maidel. Davison came out. Has it gone off for a corner? No. McQuaze! The cross just skids off the head of Sean Carlos, and the siege continues on the Western Pride goal. Warren Moon has not left the edge of his technical area all game. Western Pride are struggling just to get themselves a foothold in this game with a man disadvantage. Turn from McQuaze, he goes to deck, no foul. And Western Pride have the ball upfield. Pengelia lets it go outfield and lets the pace just slow down a little. Waits for Dolores Turashime to wander upfield and take the throw-in. Lion supporters to our left, just encouraging Dolores Turashime to speed things up a little bit. Bird challenging Luke Boreen. Simic helped that ball along though just enough, and Boreen helps it on its way towards Brindle South. Here's Maidel, very heavy touch, and Crestani just applauds Marek Maidel for that heavy touch. Dare say there'll be a fair few conversations flying around there. We had a call over to this near side from Matt Skinner to Reg Devani in the Western Pride technical area. Of course, took over from championship winning coach Graham Harvey, who's gone to pursue overseas coaching opportunities, rumoured to be in Hong Kong for Eastern. Just telling Reg Devani to stay in his technical area. It's not a very well-defined technical area, faint lines. Both coaches perched right on the edge of their allowed limits. Jared. Touched by Mar to Carlos. Here's Madel. Madel back to Mar, but Mar lets it run to Thompson. How's Mar? Challenged by Toyoshime. And Toyoshime wins the throw-in. It's excellent defence from the Western Pride left back, who's got that left knee heavily strapped. Danny Kim gets there to head that ball off the head of Joe Duckworth. Duckworth trots back upfield. He'll hope for the flick on from Pengelly. Pengelly instead sends it high up into the Ipswich night sky. Chris Marr appeals for a high boot, but ball was certainly there to be kicked. Meidel holds that ball up brilliantly and then plays in Marr. Now Marr will get round the edge of Toyoshime, but it takes far too heavy a touch. Toyoshime is doing everything right on this left-hand edge of the Western Pride defence, and you sense he's going to have plenty of work to do with Chris Marr and Andy Thompson racing down the right four lines. Simic helps it back to Barine. Jared. Back inside to Makwaze. Makwaze helps it on to Brindle South. Brindle South inside, aimed towards Madel, but instead Crestani will hook it upfield and ball goes out. No challenge for Mitch Bird, former Ipswich Knight. One of the more experienced players in the Western Pride side in his mid-20s. Brindle South chests that ball down well. Made 4 appearances for Wellington Phoenix in the Hyundai A-League across 2 seasons. Josh Brindle South before moving to the National Premier League's Victoria. And spent a season each at Bentley Greens and Green Gully. That's lovely footwork from Mitch Hoare to maintain his feet under those rather stray challenges, and then Mitch Hoare again bustles his way back and intercepts that ball. Here's Thompson. Mitch Hoare continues his run. Good challenge from Endean. Mitch Hoare just trying to get back into a suitable position. Found a little bit of an impediment in Adam Endean, so holds his hand up. 21-year-old Londoner just having his hand on Mitch Hoare's jersey, and it'll be a corner kick conceded by Delors Toyoshime. Keep your eye on everything that's happening on the edge of the penalty area. There'll be all sorts going on, you would have thought. Jason Makwaze is standing right in the shadow of Max Davison. Davison comes, Davison does well. Nadia Simic rose to get there in front of Davison, but mistimed his jump somewhat. It rather looped in the corner. Lions can't afford to be too slack, and that was taken off the head of Bird by Luke Barine. It's a little bit slack there. Brindle South and Tommy Jarrett just waiting for that ball to land, and they'll have to be careful, Lions. Far be it for me to criticise a defence that's conceded just 7 goals in 16 National Premier League's Queensland games so far this season, but just looked a little bit casual. Just because they're playing 10 men, it can't mean that they will be allowed to relax. Duckworth and Bird will pose plenty of problems, as will Andrew Pengelly. He's got 12 goals so far this season, for former University of Queensland striker. Joe Duckworth's already got 8. Mitch Bird's only got 2, but we know he can find the back of the net when required. Thompson sells Pengelly a dummy. That's inside. Madel. Then bisects Marr and Mitch Hoare, and the pace has dropped. See the sweat gleaming off these players' necks. It's been incredibly high tempo opening 33 minutes, but it's Western Pride 0, Lions 0. Western Pride playing for majority of this game with 10 men after Will McFarlane was sent off for taking down Marek Madel on the edge of the penalty area. And the 27-year-old was primed and ready to race down and challenge Mac Davison's goal. Max Davison's pulled off a couple of saves. He's flapped at a couple of crosses and flapped them to safety. And pulled off a fantastic save off Sean Carlos that just trickled through his legs, but then he was able to recover and steal it off the goal line. Well, there were a couple of defenders present as well, but rather underestimates how dramatic a moment that was as Lions look to take the lead here and the advantage on the scoreboard as well as in terms of personnel. Western Pride, though, conceded less than a goal a game, though, 16 in 17. Tough nuts to crack here in the Western Corridor derby. Carlos challenging his opposite number, Josh Wilson. And then Delors Tuashime will take the ball upfield, and Delors Tuashime, it's rather opened up for him. And he'll play that ball out well. Tuashime goes down, and then because Hayden McHenry can't keep that ball in, Delors Tuashime will be given the free kick, and Tuashime is down and in a little bit of discomfort. I hope it's not that left knee that's very heavily strapped from Delors Tuashime. He was just bundled off the ball. Looked relatively innocuous, but sometimes these tough challenges can be fairly innocuous. The majority of you, and it's a very slim majority of you, think Western Pride will come out on top of today's match. I wonder if your thoughts have changed now that the home side will be forced to play the remainder of the game down to 10 men. Get involved on the Football Queensland social media channels. Football QLD, it's at Football QLD on Instagram. Check out the stories. The team here do a fantastic job in getting those stories together, showing you all the behind the scenes action from our live stream broadcasts. There's plenty of action happening on the field as well, so to keep with us here on the Football Queensland live stream on Facebook and YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, don't forget you can watch on YouTube, and you can, of course, pause, rewind, and go backwards and forwards and do all sorts of things on YouTube that you're less able to do during the live stream on Facebook. So why don't you check that out on occasion? Of course, Tuashime has come over to this sideline, and it's his left arm. His right hand is already heavily strapped, and his left arm has got two fingers taped together. And he might be having those re-strapped, perhaps. The finger injuries can be very uncomfortable. It's okay, he'll be okay to continue, you would have thought. Crestani will take this free kick and launch it forward towards Hayden McHenry over on that far side. He heads it back inside to Duckworth. Now Brindle South for Lions in the orange shirts, kicking from left to right. Here's Jason McQuarze. Marek Madel. Madel makes the ball do all the work. He's taken to ground again. It is a free kick. Gabriel Harwash, the guilty party this time, the former Final of Queensland Heat junior. And tell you what, if you've seen a red card in the early stages, then you'd have to say that might be worth not a red card, but certainly a yellow card. Madel was dragged to ground. It's obviously not the opinion of the pit, who are massed in relatively reduced numbers, it appears, this evening. That's they're enjoying the live stream at home. If you are enjoying, get in touch on the Football Queensland Facebook page in the comments and let us know where you're watching from, as we here watch Mitchell Bird race upfield and get bundled off the ball by Danny Kim, who plays the ball back to Luke Berean. Do let us know where you're watching from and get excited about what you're watching. This is an exciting game of football. It's still 0-0, but Western Pride are being forced further and further back by Lions as they press forward and look to take advantage of their numerical advantage. If you've just joined us, Will McFarlane was sent off in the 15th minute of the game. So taking down Merrick Madel on the edge of the penalty area when the last man. Here's Sean Carlos. Madel flicks that one onto Makwaze. It's going to fall for Makwaze. Anyone, it was an unfortunate deflection off Wilson. Mitch Hoare concedes a free kick. I don't think he's overly happy with the decision, but that is the decision Matt Skinner has come to. Crestani will take the free kick for 22-year-old from Stanthorpe, who of course famously used to commute from Stanthorpe to Brisbane Roar training, where he spent 3 years playing with the Hyundai A-League side of the state. Flicked on by Mar, but far too hard, and it's going to have to be dealt with by Max Davison in the end, as Gabriel Harwash couldn't get there. And it'll be a throw-in for Lions on this near side. Made 3 Hyundai A-League appearances and a couple more appearances in the Asian Champions League in 2017. The former Raw youth captain, as Mitch Hoare gets the ball in the edge area and fires a shot in. Did it come off the back of Chris Marr? Maybe, maybe not. It matters not. Lions still have possession. It's hooked clear, and now is an opportunity for Mitch Bird, and Sean Carlos, or is it Brindle South, pulled Mitch Bird back. There's a bit of pushing and a bit of shoving over on that far side. That's perhaps to detract from the fact that Josh Brindle South is about to be shown a yellow card. Cam Crestani's getting involved. There's no need for him to get involved. It was all Mitch Bird racing down the far side. That shows the pace of the counter-attack, and Cam Crestani is being encouraged by Hayden McHenry just to get himself away from danger. If Matt Skinner can be considered dangerous. Perhaps he is when he's brandishing yellow card. I haven't seen a yellow card being brandished towards Josh Brindle South. I may have missed that. Keep our eye on it nonetheless. It's a lightning counter-attack from the Western Pride, though. Just shows how much pace Mitchell Bird has and how dangerous it is for a side with a numerical advantage to press all their men forward, because in Western Pride counter-attack, they will counter-attack quickly with Bird and Duckworth and Pengelly, and that could be costly for Lions. That Skinner is writing his notebook, so I assume he has been shown a yellow card, has Josh Brindle South. Hooked in, arriving at the back post was Endine. And I wonder just how far away from that Endine was, because had he been any closer, you'd have thought it would have been prime opportunity just to poke that ball home. Here's Kim. Lions building possession patiently from the back. It matches Simic. Kim. Jared. Simic, Jared and Kim just working their way upfield as a triumvirate at the moment. Carlos. Mitch Hoare. Injecting a little bit of pace to proceedings in the midfield. Thompson, back to Chris Marr. Marr slides that ball into Sean Carlos. Carlos skips past Furshime's challenge, gets the ball back. Here's an opportunity for Marr. Needed Gabriel Harwash to sneak in and poke that ball off Chris Marr's foot. And that could have been a telling intervention from Gabriel Harwash. Only a corner for Lions when it could have been so much more. It's an opportunity. Tell you what, Max Davison drifted into quite an uncomfortable position in watching that ball in flight and ended up doing incredibly well. The Western Pride keeper, he's answered every question asked of him so far. That's Torashime and Mitch Hoare, shoulder to shoulder. Mitch Hoare asks a question of the assistant referee on this near side and gets a negative response and shows his disdain with that response by just walking with a slight smirk on his face, it has to be said, into midfield. Here's Marr. Mitch Hoare unable to gain possession on the edge of the area. Madel is bundled off the ball by a combination of Torashime and Harwash. It's hooked back in though. Here's Madel. Madel is going to snapshot. Bit more pace on that and it could have answered a few more questions from Max Davison, but in the end it was well gathered and comfortably gathered from the Pride shot stopper. It's going to come straight back towards the Western Pride goal though with Makwaze. Makwaze drifting that ball behind both Chris Marr and Merrick Madel. Andrew Pengelly goes to deck under the challenge of Thompson. Nothing doing, it will just be a throw-in. Just seen an interested observer down to our right. Here's Jesse Rigby, the Western Pride captain. Have watchers from all over the world, as Makwaze does incredibly well despite the slip to retain possession. Brindle South, hooked clear by Ndine. My eyes may have been deceiving me from my monitor just then, but I believe it was an Ndine watching from Santorini in Greece. Hope you're enjoying your time in the Greek islands. I hope you're enjoying this taste of National Premier League Queensland football from your holidays. That's the half-time siren. Wait, of course, for referee Matt Skinner to blow his whistle before we bring a halt to proceeding in this first half. It is still 0-0. Makwaze's challenged fairly firmly. Josh Wilson it was. Here's Makwaze, does well, skips past a couple of challenges, tried to squeeze the ball across, but it was dealt with by Pengelly. There was a high foot involved there, and it was Hayden McHenry, I think, who wore that high boot on the face. He stalks off, though, towards the right-hand side of the field from Western Pride, and we've got to be pretty close to half-time now. Just been informed that I've been pronouncing Marek Madley's name wrong this entire half. Apologies, Marek. Been a lot of talk in the press about the importance of pronouncing names properly, so I will endeavour to do so in the second half. Madley, of course, of Czech descent. Has scored 4 goals and was instrumental in this one. Here he is now. Had he got a touch then, Davison was in an awkward position. Perfect to claim that long through ball, but I have to say, if Madley had managed to just get a touch, he would have been in no man's land. Western Pride keeper. Pengelly goes to Dave. That's all we're going to see in the first half. 0-0 it is here. It's been a fascinating first half. Western Pride have done well after the early dismissal of Will McFarlane, who was sent off for taking down Marek Madley on the edge of the penalty area. Western Pride down to 10 men for half an hour so far, and they've had to absorb a fair bit of Lions pressure. Marek Madley has been a menace up front, but it was former number 9 for Lions, Sean Carlos, who had the best opportunity. He squeezed a shot in after some fantastic work on the edge of the penalty area, but was unable to get the shot on goal. And Western Pride are having a little meeting in the centre of their own defensive half before heading into the sheds, where I'm sure Reg Devani, the new coach of the Western Pride, will be delivering some interesting observations of his home sides and their ability to weather the pressure. But that pressure is coming on from Lions. They'll be getting plenty of support from the pit. They've been very vocal in this first half, and they've done their job in thus far, that they have not conceded as yet against a Lions team who are looking to extend their winning run to 5. We'll just give you a couple of scores from around the grounds as things stand. There are some very interesting scores from around the grounds as things stand. Brisbane Strikers are trailing Cairns in the dying stages of that game at Perry Park by 4-3. Sounds like an absolute belter at Perry Park, that one. Cairns, of course, coming off another victory last week against Brisbane City. They're doing a Brisbane derby, Brisbane double over the last fortnight. It's 5-3 now to Cairns. Surely that game has been wrapped up from the team from the tropical north. Magpies Crusaders, they are drawing with Moreton Bay United up in Mackay. 1 goal apiece there. That could have implications for the standings in the top 4, of course, although with Strikers losing, there will be no skin off Moreton Bay United's nose as such. It's 0-0 in the game in Townsville between North Queensland United and South West Queensland Thunder, and Redlands United are leading Sunshine Coast by 3-2 at half-time in Cleveland. We'll have a short break at half-time. Hope you join us in the second half for what should be a fascinating encounter. Will Western Pride hang on? Will Lions secure the goal that gives them their 5th straight win and put them level on points at the top with both Pride and Olympic? It's all to play for. We'll see you in a few short moments after these short messages. Right onto the foot of Latham, and then shot comes in. How about that? That's a fine strike from Vicky Lyons.
Swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
I could watch them all day. Even though here, you don't feel like you need to. These are the moments I'll remember. You see, to me, it's not so much just having us all together, but finding a place that really brings us together. That's what makes Oaks Oasis special. When you only get a few chances, it's important to make them count. After all, memories don't make themselves.
Football is my favourite. I love playing it with my friends.
When I score a goal, I celebrate and dream of playing for the Goalkeeping Heroics.
And this is where it all starts, with the Aldi Mini-Roos kick-off program. I grab my shin pads, boot bag, drink bottle and bowl, then join my mates for some fun.
It's great. We learn new skills every week through games and activities. These help us learn about teamwork and respect for others.
My mum cheers me on the sidelines. She loves watching me play. She likes it that football is such a safe sport.
But best of all,
We make lots of new friends.
And if we are lucky, we might run into the Aldi Mini-Roos ambassadors.
Wow, it's Archie Thompson, he's a legend. And Steph Matlick from the Westfield Matildas, she is amazing. Come and join Australia's biggest football program for kids. Come and join us.
Great save from Ralph. Been slotted through, saved by Reesley.
We swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
I could watch them all day. Even though here, you don't feel like you need to. These are the moments I'll remember. You see, to me, it's not so much just having us all together, but finding a place that really brings us together. That's what makes Oaks Oasis special. When you only get a few chances, it's important to make them count. After all, memories don't make themselves.
We did great today.
football is my favourite. I love playing it with my friends.
When I score a goal, I celebrate and dream of playing for the Goalkeeping Heroics.
And this is where it all starts, with the Aldi Mini-Roos kick-off program. I grab my shin pads, boot bag, drink bottle and bowl, then join my mates for some fun.
It's great. We learn new skills every week through games and activities. These help us learn about teamwork and respect for others.
My mum cheers me on the sidelines. She loves watching me play. She likes it that football is such a safe sport.
But best of all,
We make lots of new friends.
And if we are lucky, we might run into the LD Miniroos ambassadors.
Wow, it's Archie Thompson. He's a legend. And Steph Natley from the Westfield Matildas. She is amazing. Come and join Australia's biggest football program for kids. Come and join us.
Welcome back to Briggs Road. Hope you haven't gone too far because this game is all set to be a cracker. The kindling is set and the matches have been lit and it's just about ready to explode, I'm saying. If you have just joined us, it is Western Pride 0, Lions 0, but that doesn't even tell half the story of what's happened so far in this first half. Will McFarlane of the Western Pride was sent off in the 15th minute for taking down Marek Madley, who I'm getting heaps of abuse for mispronouncing his name online. Thank you very much for all of your comments. Of course, pronunciation of names being such a key issue at the moment in the world of sports commentary. Just doing my best to hold my end of the bargain up. He was sent off in the 15th minute, and Lions have really laid siege to the Western Pride goal, but again, Western Pride have proven themselves more than capable on the counter-attack. I dare say they still possess a fair amount of threat in this game. Paramount to that threat is the efforts of Mitchell Bird, and he challenges down the right in the early stages. Western Pride kicking from left to right in the green and white striped jerseys. Matty Simic heading that ball clear. Early pressure from the host, McHenry. McHenry shoulders that ball in towards the middle and it finds its way through. It's still there for McHenry. Hooks it out. Delors Toyoshime will look work it back in. It's cut out by Danny Kim, and now Lions will get their first opportunity of the second half. Lovely touch from Madley. Takes it away from his defender, Gabriel Harwash. He's backed himself into a bit of a corner though. Gets support in the form of Chris Marr. And Chris Marr rather charges into a couple of Western Pride players, but then Crestani does brilliantly and hits the ball back against Madley. And now Dolores Toyoshime eventually hooks the ball clear. Another untidy passage of play over in the Western Pride penalty area, but the effect was the right one in terms of the home supporters, of which there are plenty here today. It's relatively well populated in the grandstand here at Briggs Road, and to our right with the pit, who what they make up for in lack of numbers. They certainly get in terms of volume of support and enthusiasm of support. They've been kicking every ball and encouraging our Total Tools referee team of Matt Skinner, Nathan McDonald and Andrew Lindsay to call every foul and every stray kick that is aimed towards a green-shirted player. They couldn't do anything about the red card though. It seemed a justified decision from Mr. Skinner. Thompson hooks this ball in towards the back post. It's headed back in and it's hooked in. Is it going to be the opening goal? There is going to be the opening goal. And it is that man, Marek Madley. His 5th goal in 4 appearances for Lions. And his sensational goal-scoring record in 2018 continues. That is 28th in all competitions. The celebrations continue to our left. I wonder if they might have just injured each other a little bit there. The Lions players in their exuberant celebrations of that goal. I think Madley might have copped one in the eye or in the face. He's struggling to get back into field of play, but Lions, they're a very dangerous team at the best of times, but as we've discussed at length in the first half, they rarely concede, and when they get a goal in front, that is like digging their claws into the opponent's flanks, and all it takes now is to deliver the killer blow. Madley may well have delivered the first cut. Hayden McHenry is brought crashing to ground by Sean Carlos. And Sean Carlos is being called over. No, Hayden McHenry is being called over. Let's try and see and hear what's happening. Mark Madley just gets some water in front of us and just checks in with Warren Moon just to make sure that everything's all right. This is a good opportunity for Western Pride. The discussion has finished between Hayden McHenry and Mr. Skinner, and Mr. Skinner has just started up a new one with Sean Carlos, who's arguing his point. What an opportunity. You're at your most vulnerable just after you've scored. Western Pride proved that true. It's a lovely ball. They're in. They score a goal. It is Andrew Pengelly who gets his 13th of the season, and we're back on level terms. You wait 45 minutes for a goal and then 2 come along at once. It's Andrew Pengelly, the 20-year-old former University of Queensland player, with his 13th goal of the season. And 2 goals in 2 minutes here at Briggs Road. The 10 men of Western Pride have pulled themselves back level. And we've got a cracker on our hands here in the National Premier League's Queensland. Western Pride will not give up top spot without a fight. Hearing a bit of an echo in my headphones. Reliving that goal for Western Pride, the equalising goal. Thompson, though, squeezes the ball in. It had to be dealt with by Gabriel Harwash, and it was dealt with very well. Feel Lions will continue to press now. Here's Tommy Jarrett. Captain Matthias Simic. Wilson Makwaze. Took a deflection, but Mitchell rides one challenge, hands it off to Kim, who rides another challenge from Endin. Here's Sean Carlos, good save! Really good save from Davison. Sean Carlos let fly from the edge of the area. He needed a good save, and Max Davison got two strong hands to it. Been good in the first half as Davison managed to palm that ball not only away from goal, but away from Marek Madley, who was lurking on the edge of the penalty area. Here's Josh Brindle South. Squeezes that ball through. It was cut out, though, by McHenry, and McHenry continues his run. Kim, ball is out for a Western Pride throw. Mitchell Bird will leave for McHenry to stalk back to take. Helped back by Jared to Barine. Just the 8th goal Lions have conceded. It's their first Matthias Simic just used his shoulder there, and we'll see a yellow card shown after he bundled Josh Wilson off the ball. The Lions veteran knew exactly what he was doing, just stepped into the path of Wilson. First goal Lions have conceded in 457 minutes, if you're interested. And ruins a run of 4 straight clean sheets that has seen Lions win 4 straight matches. If you are keeping track at home, neither side has drawn a match in the National Premier League Queensland yet, so far this season either. Good opportunity now. Barine leapt high in the purple, and then that's a handball from Crestani. It's a deliberate handball as well. He'll get a yellow card. Well, the effect was the end perhaps justified the means from Cam Crestani. He smothered that as if he was clearing a rugby union box kick from Luke Barine. As we saw in the NRL last night, a couple of charge down drop goals in the Roosters Melbourne match. That's exactly how it looked. Crestani's reward is a yellow card, but more than that, it negated and nullified the Lions' counter-attack, and as we say, the end definitely justified the means. It was a good free kick. Dangerous free kick once again from Western Pride, but Luke Barine managed to rise highest and plucked the ball out of the night sky here in Ilchridge. Madley, oh, it's flicked on there, and unfortunately for the visitors, Chris Marr can't quite keep it in. Hope you're enjoying this National Premier League Queensland game. It's burst into life here in the second half. It's 10 minutes gone in this second half, sorry. And Western Pride have gone back on level terms with Lions. It's 1 apiece. Marek Madley getting the opening goal just 3 minutes after a break, and 2 minutes after that, Andrew Pengelly grabbing an equaliser from a dangerous free kick. And those teams playing long balls. The pitch is incredibly lush. Walked across it, I mentioned this in the first of our double headers this morning. The grass is quite a bit longer than a lot of pitches that I've seen here at Western Prime. It's in immaculate condition. Kept incredibly well. This ball falls through to Carlos on the edge of the area. He made a real mess out of that. Hooked it wide of the far post. When had he just smashed it into the near post as he saw it, we could be talking about Lions retaking the lead. Sean Carlos unable to add to his 6 goals that he scored this season. He was the Flight Centre Brisbane Premier League Player of the Year in 2015. Played 71 games for 21 goals for Lions in the Brisbane Premier League between 2013 and 15, and moved into the National Premier League with Strikers, where he managed 4 goals in 33 appearances. Marek Madley just runs onto this one, squeezes it across to Equalizer, and another ball is looped in, but too far over the head and over the crossbar of Max Davison's goal. Returns to Lions shortly after the announcement was made that the National Premier League Queensland was got to be expanded with the introduction of Lions and Magpies Crusaders United. Mitchell Bird flicks that ball on. It's comfortably gathered by Berean. Really good game this. 2 top sides in the state going at each other. Kim has to work for that one and gets there just ahead of Bird. Little bit casual from Lions, and Warren Moon advances to the edge of his technical area and perhaps informs his side that they need to be a little bit more switched on if they're to get the 3 points from this game. Here's Mitch Hoare on the edge of the area. Goes wide to Thompson. Thompson goes even further wide to Marr, and then Madley smashes that ball into the sprawled figure of Gabriel Harwash, and it'll be a corner kick for Lions. Reg Devani imploring his players to switch on and be alert to the threat that Lions pose at these situations. Thompson delivers. Kim's arriving at the back post. Kim got ahead to it and holds his hands out in an exasperated look. Just waiting for some balls to come back into play and bring you some results from around the grounds. Cairns continue their fine run, and Josh Taylor continues his fine goal-scoring run as it's taken off ahead of Madley. Still there for Sean Carlos on the edge of the penalty area. There's Makwaze. Makwaze twisting and turning. Flicks across in, gets a corner. We'll stick with this. We'll bring you the updated scores from around the grounds after the danger has passed for the home side. This is exciting stuff here in the National Premier League's Queensland. Andy Thompson has trotted over to this near side to take this corner kick. Corner is swept in, it's taken off the head. Whose head was that? I think it was Tommy Jarrod. We got the initial touch, or the last touch in fact. Max Davison head punching the ball onto Jarrod's head in the end. Lions retain possession though. Western Pride just struggling at the moment to keep their foot on the ball. Get the feeling this is where they really miss a player like Jesse Rigby, just to have that experience, albeit youthful experience, to just get his foot on the ball and maintain possession in the midfield, break play up when it's not working for Western Pride. He's been absent for a few weeks now. Davison just launches it upfield towards Pengelly. Call from the Western Pride technical area to our right. Reg Devani was pushing the back. An ambitious shout, a desperate shout perhaps. Not likely. The scoreline as it stands will suit Western Pride, having played since the 15th minute with a man down after Will McFarlane was sent off for impeding Marek Madley. A few Bronx cheers from the grandstands as Lions retain possession and pass the ball around the back line. Here is captain Maciej Simic. Kim. Jared. Back to Kim. Simic just drifts that one up onto the head of Carlos, and it looked for a moment that Davison had lost it, but managed to regather. Carlos was a very interested party to that particular fumble. Oh, it needed a touch from Simic, but it wasn't a great one. It's fair for Mitch Bird. And then Hayden McHenry concedes the foul on Mitch Hoare, that wayward pass. We'll bring you the scores from around the grounds now. Currently in play in Mackay, Magpies Crusaders holding Moreton Bay United to a goal apiece. Farquhar got the opening goal there for Magpies Crusaders. Bay United holding them back to level terms. Simic asks a little bit of Luke Barine. Barine calmly gets the ball upfield to fellow centre-back Tommy Jarrett. Here's Kim. North Queensland United and South West Queensland Thunder. It's still 0-0 up there in Townsville. Big game for both sides, that. Towards the foot of the table. Just as this is at the top of the table. Here's Brindle South. Mitch Hoare. Sean Carlos. Wide to Andy Thompson. Thompson with the cross. Headed clear by Harwash. Good pass by Jared, wide to Brindle South. Brindle South is challenged by McHenry, and McHenry does well to concede the corner. It's a real cracker in Cleveland. Redlands United leading Sunshine Coast by 3-2. And one result to tell you all about, which we've mentioned a couple of times already. Brisbane Strikers falling to a 5-3 defeat in an 8-goal thriller to the in-form Cairns FC. We have a slight injury, just enough time to remind you to check out the Football Queensland website, footballqueensland.com.au, for all your match previews and round previews and reviews and all your player profiles from across the leagues, the 3 divisions that we have here, the National Premier League's Women's, the National Premier League's Queensland and the Football Queensland Premier League. It's Josh Wilson who's down on the deck receiving a little bit of treatment. Looks to be okay. No, he's going to have to be substituted. The signal's gone to the bench, and Reg Devani. Will the substitution be made before the corner? I don't necessarily think so. Luke Bryan, incidentally, is standing inside the attacking half for Lions. Corner's swept in. It's there for Makwaze. He's offside. He's offside. It won't count. Flag was up immediately. Lovely control and turn with his back to goal about a yard out, and still managed to squeeze the ball in, but nevertheless the flag was up. The substitution will be made. It's Wilson who's off, and it'll be Neelan Brown who comes on. Brown gets the round of applause from the grandstand, just a smattering of applause as he makes his way off. Breen is still a mile out of his area. He's just got himself back into his penalty area now, but have to be careful not to be caught out. We've seen a couple of dramatic long-range goals as the flag goes up against Mitch Bird. Been linking up well with Hayden McHenry, 21-year-old Aucklander. On the right-hand side for Western Pride, here's Tenacious, who's been patrolling the left-hand side of the centre of defence. Here's Jason McQuarze, squeezes that ball into Carlos. Yeah! Carlos! Oh, that is a stunner! That is an absolute stunner from Sean Carlos. We had a perfect angle on it, and it was always drifting away from the diving Max Davison. A fantastic strike from Sean Carlos, his 7th of the season, and Lions regain the lead, and that's a heartbreaker for Western Pride. It's a belter of a goal from Sean Carlos. Lions have been pressing since Western Pride drew back level thanks to that Andrew Pengelly header. Marek Madley giving the visitors the lead just 2 minutes before that header, but here's another opportunity for the Pride. Will they hit back again? Surely not. Oh, they couldn't, you know. Mitchell Bird helping that one on. You may have heard Warren Moon screaming at his sides to switch on, and he's still pretty unhappy with them. Very unhappy, apparently. There's an opportunity. Cam Crestani! Was there a handball there? Crestani's screaming at the linesman, and might well have been. You know, Crestani is livid with the assistant official on this near side. We're going to see a yellow card anyway. It's Gabriel Hawash. Warren Moon might need to check his blood pressure. He's going mental to our left. Screaming for a send-off, I think, for Gabriel Hawash. We'll have to have a look at that again. I don't have a replay to hand, I'm afraid, but we'll see if that was a handball. It's certainly what Cam Crestani was suggesting. Have Lions got away with one there? Frenetic stuff over on that far side. Western Pride think they're still in this, and they certainly have a point. Here's an opportunity again for Mitch Bird. He's turning in and out of trouble. Well, now Marek Madley is trying to make something happen up the other end. He's thwarted by Cam Crestani, who plays that ball directly out. And we'll have an opportunity to breathe. Just to let you know, the post-match interview with Amy Chapman of South United from our first game of the doubleheader here at Briggs Road this afternoon is now available on YouTube, so make sure you check that out after this game. Don't go anywhere if you're watching this one. As Lions once again continue to press. Here's McQuarze. McQuarze still got the ball on the edge of the area, wants an outlet, finds it in Hoare. Hoare delivers it to the back post. It was a bit too hard for Marek Madley. But Lions still proving that they're a threat as well. End-to-end stuff here in the National Premier League's Queensland. This is first versus third. Lions will go level on points with both Western Pride and Olympic. Of course, Olympic playing Gold Coast United 5 o'clock on Sunday, so they'll be level on points at the top at least for 24 hours or so, or 22 hours or so, I guess. 20 hours or so. Less than a day, anyway. Western Pride will be doing all they can to make sure that they're stand alone at the top of the table. A point will get them that. 3 points will be even better. Their superior goal difference is almost worth an extra point in itself. They have 58 to Western Pride, to Olympics 32, and Lions 39, although that'll improve to 40, and Pride's will of course decrease to 57 if things stay as they are, and there is absolutely no guarantee of that with a quarter of this one still remaining. It's Western Pride 1, Lions 2, and all of a sudden Western Pride, who it should be remembered are playing with a man down, are still more than in this. Chris Maher just conceded a free kick for a handball. Crestani tried to take it quickly and he knew what he was doing, Cam Crestani. We are going to see a substitution. It's going to be Nathan Shepherd who comes on. And Chris Maher is ever so slowly making his way to this near touchline, and he is absolutely fully within his rights to make as much of this as he can, and he may well be carrying a slight injury. He's worked his socks off, has Chris Maher. Another opportunity for Western Pride to deliver a ball into a dangerous position, and Lions have shown that they have not been able to deal with them all that well. Harwash leaps, it's there for Crestani! It's looped up, and then Boreen was bundled over the line. Of course, 20, 30 years ago, you're probably more than entitled to do that. No longer. The Goalkeepers Union will be screaming at their TV screen or screen of their device. It was Adam Mendian who challenged Luke Boreen, who is just feeling his lower back. Just letting everyone know that he was fouled in that situation. That was the opinion of our Total Tools referee Matt Skinner in any case. I think Western Pride are about to make their first substitution of the night as Crestani launches that one forward. This will be awkward to deal with. It's bouncing around. Pengeli's there. And Boreen stood tall. Quasi can't maintain possession. Dolores Toyoshime skips away from one challenge, receives the return ball. He's bundled off it though by Mitch Hoare. It's going to get back for him though. It was hit straight back into him by Josh Brindle South. And Dolores Toyoshime has traversed the field from one diagonal to the other. Oh, it's crept through, and that's a good save from Boreen. What a goal that would have been from Dolores Toyoshime. Everyone around me is holding their head in their hands. And still Alex Parsons waits to be allowed on. Mitch Hoare has a bit of time and space. That's been a rare luxury in this second half. As Mandy Simic just found out. Oh, that's a solid collision. No foul. 6 of one, half dozen of the other, according to referee Neelan Brown. And Josh Brindle South coming together. Quasi just challenges and puts Toyoshime under all sorts of pressure, and then it's the substitute Nathan Shepherd who challenged Crestani there, and we will now see this substitution. It is going to be Alex Parsons who comes on. And it's been a fine effort from Andrew Pengeli. He scored the goal. But he has been withdrawn. Alex Parsons making just his 6th appearance of the season. Former Lions. That's a strong header from Danny Kim. Got over the top of Mitch Bird, but Western Pride have possession. They use it to great effect with Duckworth, who tried to slide that ball into Bird. And then Boreen takes his time. Luke Boreen. It's the ball upfield. Again, space and time is at a premium, and then Andy Thompson lets that ball just slip over the top of his foot. That's a pretty poor error because Western Pride have got a head of steam up, as we say, despite having 10 men. They've been doing some fantastic work in this second half. They drew level after Merrick Madley got Lions the opening goal in the 48th minute. In the 50th minute, Andrew Pengeli drew things level after a sensational free kick. Sean Carlos scored with an absolutely sensational strike to give Lions the lead once more, but Western Pride could have had an equaliser that was waved away despite big shouts of handball after Crestani hooked a ball forward, and they've had other opportunities to lure us to Ashime as well, but it's the visitors in the orange shirts who will have the next opportunity, you fear, with Makwaze. Makwaze flashes that one across the top and over the top. This is a real battle. 15 minutes remaining. I want games like this to carry on forever. Perfect conditions out here in Ipswich for football. It's not too cold. It's a little bit of dew just making the ball zip across the, we've already discussed the lush field here at Briggs Road. The grass is a centimetre or so longer than I've seen elsewhere or in many other places so far this season. Madley helps that ball on towards Makwaze. Madley wants a return ball. Makwaze still has it. Makwaze goes down. And Makwaze is shown a yellow card for simulation. We've just about seen everything in this game so far. Makwaze is showing a mark on his foot that would dispose Matt Skinner from showing the yellow card, but they can't be rescinded once they're given, you wouldn't have thought. And that's how our Total Tools referee Matt Skinner saw it. Again, I'll reiterate, no VAR, you'll have to wait till the World Cup round of 16 starts later tonight before we see more VAR interventions, you would have thought. Brindlesouth helps that ball back, and then Duckworth goes down. Advantage is for call. Parsons battling with Thompson, and then Parsons wins the throw-in over on that far side. The referee Skinner will not come back for the potential foul. In fact, I didn't even recall seeing him put the hands out for an advantage for the potential foul on Duckworth, but looked like he may have had a case. Players are going down left, right and centre at the moment, and a long ball played forward for Madley. They have to be careful now. Lions. 50-50 battle, says the referee. Harwash already on a yellow card, remember. And Crestani, did he stick a foot out? Perhaps not on Madley. But then Sean Carlos attempted to play in Shepherd and was unable to do so, and then let his frustration get the better of him. Hayden McHenry goes down. There's no yellow card shown. The Western Pride bench are furious, as are their supporters down to our right. That's the call from Reg Devani. How is that not a yellow? Did sense that Sean Carlos was just a little bit frustrated in the way he played that ball, a little bit too heavy. Play the ball onto. Ball boys need these balls played in quickly, and Hayden McHenry receives it. And then lines up and launches his throw towards the other penalty area. Nadia Simic hooks it on, and then Makwaze gets it out to Mitch Hoare. It's launched forward by Thompson towards Madley. Madley up against Toyoshime. What an ambitious effort that was. That would have been some effort, some goal had it gone in, but it was always going over the top. And we are approaching just 10 minutes remaining. It is Western Pride 1, Lions 2. Goals from Marek Madley and Sean Carlos. Either side of a Andrew Pengelly equaliser. Lions are playing with a man advantage. Will McFarlane was sent off early. 15 minutes in fact. You wouldn't know it from this. Here's an opportunity perhaps for Bird. Apologies, it was Duckworth. Duckworth is a bird of sorts, I guess. Didn't get enough power on it. It's launched back upfield for Madley to challenge for. It's taken away from him by Brown. And Brown goes back to Harwash. It's Pride doing all the running as we approach the final 10 minutes or so of this match, but that ball was cut out comfortably by Thompson. An opportunity now for Mitchell. Mitchell battling. Mitchell does this so well. Just allowed that to skip away from him though, and Endean was there to mop up, but Mitchell continues to battle. Holding it in the corner serves Lions' purpose more than Western Pride, and then getting an attacking throw-in over on that far side certainly assists Lions' cause in holding on to this slender advantage. It's worth remembering, Lions have only conceded twice in a game once this season. That was against Gold Coast United, and they still won that game. Makwaze, on the edge of the penalty area. Makwaze snapped a shot across. Oh, it wasn't far off. It's a goal kick. Adelaide's screaming for a touch. Looks like Mitch Hoare is being prepared to come on to our left. Sorry, not Mitch Hoare, Carter Glockner. It's a lovely touch from Sean Carlos, and then here's Makwaze. It's fallen through to Madley. Madley straight into a chest of Davison. That could have finished it for Lions. But it's a good save from Davison. He's been impressive this evening. Let's just about get that ball away through Jared. Carlos bundled off it, and now it's Bird allowed to run through, challenges Simic. Simic does incredibly well. That's excellent defending from Matthias Simic, the Lions captain. He needs to stand up now as Western Pride continue to press. That's a poor ball by Brindle South. McHenry goes down, no foul. Threaded through there by Shepherd to Madley. Madley, great challenge from Harwash. Then the post. Now Mitch Hoare! That's the game for Lions. Top corner for Mitch Hoare. You can't see a way back for Western Pride now. They've battled so hard, have the 10 men of Western Pride. And they did so well to repel the advances even then, but Mitch Hoare was on hand to smash the ball into the top corner, the roof of the net bulging. And the call from Warren Moon is to switch on once more, because they have conceded after scoring once already today. And Carter Glockner will replace Jason Makwaze, who was instrumental in the setting up of that goal, the 25-year-old Colombian, who of course will be looking forward to the last 16 clash against England coming up in a couple of nights' time. Western Pride are going to make their last change as well, and it's Mitchell Bird who will be replaced by number 15, Jacob Minette, former Australian under-19 player. Will we see a grandstand finish here with just over 5 minutes remaining? It's Lions 3, Western Pride 1. Henry just got there ahead of Shepherd. Here's Shepherd on the ball now. Carlos. Ball from Sean Carlos, giving the ball away, and then Alex Parson goes down, wins the free kick. It's opportunities like this that Western Pride have been causing problems from. Just delivering good long balls into the box. Crestani. He's making his way into the middle, as is Harwash. Staying towards the back port. Staying Crestani. Crestani heads in. Hello. 3-2. Warren Moon's about to blow a gasket next door to me here on the sideline, and he has every reason to, because Western Pride have suddenly got themselves back into the game again. It's Western Pride 2, Lions 3. And for just the second time this season, Lions have conceded 2 goals in a game. Funnily enough, they won that game 3-2 against Gold Coast United. Will history repeat itself? Madley gets a touch. It took Max Davison out of the game. Fortunately for him, Crestani was there. Here's Mitch Hoare. Is he going to repeat the dose? No, it's deflected. Gets another opportunity off the post and into the arms of Davison. What a game we're seeing here. 2 top teams going head to head, toe to toe, and blow for blow. 3.5 minutes remaining. We're going to see a yellow card for Andy Thompson, to the delight of the fans here at Briggs Road. They sense an opportunity for their side. They have every reason to sense that opportunity. It's almost counterintuitive. The referee, Matt Skinner, has to now write Andy Thompson's name in his notebook, which eats up another couple of seconds for Lions. Can you believe it's the 11 men of Lions who are hanging on after leading by 3-1? They do have possession now, and they'll swing this ball in, and it's a diving stop from Davison. He's flung himself about all over his penalty area in this second half. Oh, it's a sloppy ball, but Crestani's there. Crestani takes the ball upfield. Here's the substitute. Plays the ball in. Here's an opportunity for Duckworth. Duckworth goes down. It's no penalty. The touch was there from Tommy Gerrard. It's the turn of Western Pride's bench to our right to blow up now. How much more drama are we going to see in this game at Briggs Road? We hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. Max Davison's on the floor to our left. He's stretching out those calves and hamstrings. Western Pride have an opportunity now to equalise from the corner. 2 minutes remaining. It's swept in. McHenry heads it back inside. It's for captain Simic who hooks it clear, and now an opportunity. That's a Carter Glockner. He doesn't get on the end of it. It's not Carter Glockner even. It's Nathan Shepherd. Had it been Carter Glockner with his afterburners, he may well have got onto it. Another opportunity to take a deep breath, because Lions do have the throw in. We're going to see the final substitution from Warren Moon, and it will be Nathan Reardon who will be flung into the fray at the end. Mitch Hoare will be the man withdrawn. Matt Skinner justifiably asking Reg Devani what the problem is. Lions are more than entitled to make their 3 substitutions. And it might not be overly palatable for spectators and fans to see teams take their time over such matters, but they are entitled to do so. The referee, you feel, will add time on. And that time added on will be approaching in less than 60 seconds' time. McHenry gets there ahead of any Lions opponents, and Danny Kim launches this ball as far as he dares into the practice fields behind us. Hayden McHenry will launch this ball into the middle with a long throw. It's a fantastic throw. Danny Kim launched, jumped highest. Parsons sees a shot deflected away. Now Toyoshime tried to thread the ball in, but an opportunity perhaps for the substitute Reardon to play in. Carter Glockner could finish it. Carter Glockner goes down. That is a penalty, and it has been given by Matt Skinner. Surely now the game is over in favour of Lions. It looked like a penalty, looked like perhaps the trailing leg. It's a second yellow card as well. Western Pride will finish with 9 men on the field. Harwash receives his marching orders. Luke Berean, can you believe, will take the penalty. He took the penalty and saved the penalty that got Lions through in the FFA Cup against Rochdale Rovers. It's a bit of pushing and shoving on the edge of the penalty area. Jacob Minette putting a shoulder into the back of Nathan Shepherd. Luke Berean will take his time in getting this ready. You don't often see this. We have seen everything now in this game, I think. What a fantastic match we have seen. Reg Devani is leaving all his players upfield, as he well might. There's 4 players now for Western Pride in the centre circle. No point in leaving players back. There's more players in the centre circle than there are on the edge of the area for Western Pride. I'm sorry, it's equal, 4 and 4. And here comes Luke Barine to finish it. That's a brilliant save. What a save from Davison. How about that? It stays 3-2 and Western Pride still have a hope. Have a game, Mac Davison. That is such a good save. We always have plenty of drama here at Briggs Road. And this game is more than living up to the billing that it has received during the week. It's my least favourite part of any game now, the holding the ball in the corner, but Western Pride get the ball out, and can they launch it upfield? They can. Alex Parsons is all alone on this near side. It's a throw-in to Western Pride. We're in added time now. Who would be a coach? Warren Moon pacing around the edge of his penalty area, hands in his pockets. It's launched upfield towards Marek Madley. Crestani gets the better of him and heads it clear, but only as far as Shepherd. Mitch Hoare. Sorry, Carter Glockner. I'll stop confusing those two in a minute. Hard to get the ball upfield, but puts it out, and then Andy Thompson wins the ball. It is a throw-in to Lions. They'll be in no rush to take. Andy Thompson will be the man who has taken it. He's already received a yellow card for taking his time over such matters before. Kept in by Glockner. That's really good work from Carter Glockner, working incredibly hard. He's doing what his manager set him on to do, run around, cause mayhem and cause problems for the Western Pride defence. He won the penalty, but Luke Barine failed to convert. The extroverted Lions goalkeeper is an opportunity. Shot comes in. It was deflected wide. Are there more goals in this? I don't know if either coach's nerves can take it. It was Shepherd who had the shot. Apologies, it was Carlos with the shot. Reg Devani upset with how long this is taking. This won't please him either. It's a Lions throw. They'll take just as much time here. Every player on the Lions bench is on their feet. Every player on the Western Pride bench is on their feet. Night of high drama out in Ipswich at Briggs Road. It's been a sensational contest between Western Pride and Lions. Lions lead it by 3-2. They'll go level on points as things stand on top of the table and jump ahead of Olympic, pushing them down to 3rd spot. It's the lowest they've been for a while, although they do play later in the weekend against Gold Coast United. Brandon Kumineo getting a little bit of advice from Matt Skinner. Free kick. This is coming down on top of us, is it? No, good catch. Really good catch from the ball boy. Danny Kim is getting some stretching done. I dare say Nathan Shepherd would be better off leaving him. And that's exactly what Warren Moon is suggesting. Warren Moon is marching up towards the centre circle now and telling Shepherd in no uncertain terms to get back and defend. Is this going to be the last roll of the dice for Western Pride? Everyone's up. The goalkeeper's up. Well, could you even put money on Max Davison scoring the equaliser here? It's aimed towards him. It's claimed, though, by Luke Barine. That's a really good save. Really good stop. Reardon wheels away. There's players all over the pitch. The yellow card's been shown. I'm not quite sure who to. It might have been to Max Davison, in fact. But there's Lions players littered across their own penalty area. The pit crowd cheer is for the ball trickling into the Lions net after it was played back for Luke Berean to take the free kick. That is full time. What a game we've seen here at Briggs Road. It's Lions who've hung on against the 10 men of Western Pride. They win it by 3 goals to 2. This game had absolutely everything. Warren Moon gives a wry smile. He'll be the happier of the 2 managers, no doubt, but Western Pride, Reg Devani can give plenty of credit to his side. They fought so hard and got back into the game twice despite being down to 10 men. They finished with 9 men, of course. Gabriel Harwash is given a second yellow card for bringing down Carter Glockner in the penalty area. Luke Berean then missed that penalty, Max Davison pulling off one of the great penalty saves. It was an absolute stunner. And we've just had so much entertainment in this National Premier League Queensland Round 19 clash that you hardly know where to begin. We best start at the beginning. It was a 0-0 first half, characterised by that sending off for Will McFarlane in just the 15th minute. That put Western Pride onto the back foot, but they repelled all the Lions' attacks and looked likely to get a couple of goals themselves in that first half. An entertaining first half as it was. Lions opened the scoring from Marek Madley, his 5th goal in his 4th match. And then almost immediately, Andrew Pengelly drew the hosts level in the 50th minute, just 2 minutes later. Sean Carlos scored a screamer to give Lions the lead once more, and then Mitch Hoare added a screamer of his own after the ball ping-balled around the penalty area a couple of times, thanks to a fantastic save from Max Davison. Cam Crestani thought he had a big shout for a handball for Western Pride after a ball was cleared off the line, but it was waved away by referee Matt Schooner, who was kept incredibly busy. Over the course of the game, he showed Jalen Makwaze a yellow card for diving in the penalty area. He then waved away another penalty up the other end for a foul on Joe Duckworth, for an appealed for foul, very vociferously appealed for foul by the pit behind the Lions goal. But just 2 minutes after Mitch Hoare gave Lions a 3-1 lead, Cam Crestani did score the equaliser. Did score the second goal, to make it 3-2 and make Warren Moon an incredibly tense coach. He was screaming down to our left. Reg Devani was screaming down to our right. Gabriel Harwash was sent off for a second yellow card in the closing stages for a foul on Carter Glockner. Luke Berean then saw his penalty attempt saved by Max Davison, who was absolutely sensational all night. But the wash-up was that Lions move level on points at the top of the table with Pride and Olympic. Pride and Olympic have now played the same number of games, 18. Olympic will play once more on Sunday afternoon against Gold Coast United. Lions have played a game less, which you would say perhaps puts them firmly in the box seat to take out the Premiership at the first time of asking. But there is a lot of football to be played before now and the end of the season. We hope you've enjoyed this National Premier League Queensland broadcast on the Football Queensland Facebook page and YouTube channel. I've been Simon Smale. It's been a real pleasure to bring it to you. I can't wait to bring you the next instalment of action from the Football Queensland Premier League. Keep your eye on social media at Football QLD for the live stream games for next weekend. And we'll sign off here from Briggs Road. We hope you have an enjoyable evening of football. If you're watching the World Cup, enjoy those matches this evening and tomorrow morning. It's goodbye here from Briggs Road, where Lions have beaten Western Pride by 3 goals to 2.